Welcome to the Squat Show. Hey, what's good? Marhaina adlaw and happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Squat Show, airing on CQT 90.3 FM, brought to you by Radio Kapwa. I'm your host, Nikki Anchovy, giving you some sentimental, emotional vibes this week as we get further into spring. And I gotta say, I've been feeling a little emotional lately. Well, mostly because it was awesome having some of the Radio Kapwa crew help support the fundraising going on for CQT, but also because of my hyperhidrosis. I just get really sweaty in hot weather. It's not a vibe. It's not a sight to see. And maybe it's TMI, but I just want to share this cool trick that I learned from watching some Japanese movies. Like a bandana, you wrap a sweat towel around your neck and absorbs all that sweat so it doesn't go on your back and you get sick. It's super useful. I recommend you try it out. Anyway, how's your week been? Usually this is the turning point for your week, going good or bad, so I'm just going to manifest some goodness into you. I come from a bloodline of clairvoyant Filipinos, so I'm sure I can manifest something for you, unless you're not into the woo-woo. Woo-woo. And if you're not, that's cool. I'll just save it for the more open-minded folks, I guess. But let's just kick it off with BAP from Jakarta, Indonesia, with the song To Be off his 2024 album Album 3. Let's go.
I see a bit of everybody in me. Everyone that you've ever knew is in the mirror, looking back at you, reminding you that it's always ending. We're always ending, you and I. It's just me and you. It's just me and you. It's just me and you and me and you and me and you and me. It's just me and you and me and you and everybody that we knew. It's just me and you and me and you and me and you and me and you. It's just me and you and me and you and everybody pushing through because it's always ending. 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 It's always It's always ending. It's always Where was it the time fall to a softer planing. You're always wrong and right. Relinquish my birth and now, 'cause you see straight through the cheese.
That was Malaysia's The World Ends With You, chugging some post-punk shoegaze with Slur off their 2025 single, Slur, Ethereal. Before that was 8-Breeder coming all the way from Dumaguete with Suffering from Diabetes and an Intense Desire to End Humanity, released in 2023. Speaking of Duma, the doom and gloom of Dumaguete, I've been looking to get into some tropical gothic literature. So if you've got any recos, hit me up on Instagram. It just seems like a really interesting niche in literature for me. But yeah, let me know. Anyway, coming up next is Manila's Cream Flower with To Remember Is to Live. And after that, In Memory of the View from Hanoi Opera House with Ma from Hanoi, Vietnam.
Just
Ain't that a thing? So nice. So, if you've recently just tuned in, you were listening to Ma from Hanoi's In Memory of the View from Hanoi Opera House off the 2022 album Beach Heaven Part 2 Home Mix. And if you're new to the show, or if you just tuned in, you're listening to The Squat Show on CQT 90.3 FM. I'm your host, Nikki Anchovy, bringing you some Amoda tracks from across Southeast Asia and the archipelagos. Let's dive into some more tracks from the Philippines, starting with Cebu's Awkward Dancer and the track Lomas, then Manila's Cheeky Things with their 2024 single Tacloban. Whew, whew. Hui, Leyte mentioned. That was Chicky Things with Tacloban. Cool, breezy tune. I enjoy it quite a bit. But now I'm thinking about my friend from the Philippines who comes from there. A shout out, Jogi Torres. He comes from a line of mananambals, spiritual healers, just like how I come from a line of clairvoyants, people who see the future. It's not that useful, trust me. But I remember he gave me a bit of advice for when I was in the Philippines. So if a stranger, especially in places like Leyte and Siquijor, havens for mananambals, mamabarangs, which are healers and witch doctors, if one of those folks touch you, make sure you touch them back so you don't get cursed. Or, if you're feeling a little maybe shady, maybe a little shifty, you could pass that curse on to someone else. Anyway, now you know. Let's close off the set with some Beast Jesus and then get right into some news and community announcements. That was Beast Jesus with a cover of Chained Wandering Deeply by Envy from Japan. Nihongo desu. Anyway, that's it for the music. Let's get into the news from the Philippines. From Rolling Stone Philippines, Ruby Ibarra, Filipino-American rapper, wins NPR Tiny Desk contest with performance of Bakunawa. Filipino-American rapper Ruby Ibarra has won the 2025 NPR Tiny Desk contest. Her performance of Bakunawa was chosen from a pool of 7,500 submissions and earned her a spot at the Tiny Desk stage at NPR's Washington, D.C. headquarters. She and her band will also join a national summer tour with other past Tiny Desk performers and emerging artists. Her work often reflects on identity, migration, and the Filipino-American experience. Bakunawa, the track that won her the contest, continues in that direction. Named after a mythical creature from Filipino folklore, believed to devour the moon, the song ties mythology to modern resistance. The lyrics address state violence, anti-Asian hate, and institutional abuse, but also speak to the strength of community and cultural memory. Musically, Bakunawa blends live instrumentation with sharp, layered rhythms. Ibarra shifts between English, Tagalog, and Bisaya, letting each language bring out a different tone and rhythm. The song doesn't lean on spectacle. It holds its ground with purpose and clarity. From ABS-CBN News, Gael Garcia Bernal retells Philippine history in Live Diaz's Magellan. Cannes, France. Mexican actor Gael Garcia Bernal stars in a new film which re-examines the discovery of the Philippines by European explorers and questions the existence of a national resistance hero. Magellan, which premiered at the Cannes Film Festival on Sunday, is the latest film feature from Filipino director Lav Diaz, who acknowledges he is tackling sensitive issues. The film takes its title from Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan, played by Bernal, who set sail in the early 1500s across the Atlantic in search of Far East riches. He is the first European to be able to set foot in the Philippines, and at the time, the conversion to Christianity of the Filipinos started with him, Diaz told AFP. And of course, colonization, eventually. Magellan, who was sponsored by the Spanish crown, died at the Battle of Mactan on April 27, 1521, killed in combat by warriors said to be led by Lapu-Lapu. Diaz puts forward a theory in his film that Lapu-Lapu, who is now revered for his resistance, was in fact an invention of Humabon, the monarch of a neighboring island. The Battle of Mactan was a trap for the explorer, who was told that people on Mactan Island were resisting the rival Christianity. No one ever saw Lapu-Lapu, Diaz says, adding that his conclusions are based on years of research into this key episode in Philippine history. To learn more, visit the playlist description after the episode for links, or if you're on YouTube, you can access the links in this video description below. Now on to some community news and announcements. On May 27 is the first IFO Bridge show of the year. Starting at 8 p.m. at the Van Horn Underpass is a DIY bridge gig featuring dreamy glitch pop Alive Girl from Chicago, post-rock by Godstar Megamax from Chicago, and local power pop faves Private Lives. Bring cash for the touring bands if you can, and respect the underpass. On May 28 is Kapwa Movie Night, Inay, Mama, starting at 6 p.m. at the Auditorium 1615 EV building at Concordia University. Presented by Santa Kapwa for Asian and Filipino Heritage Month is a special screening of Thea Lu's award-winning doc, Inay, or Mama, followed by a discussion with the director and Jeremiah Reyes. On May 30, there's a benefit show for Montreal's oldest anarchist space at Casa del Popolo, 4873 St. Laurent, starting at 8 p.m. sharp. Help raise over $200,000 in urgent repairs for 2035 Boulevard St. Laurent, home to Les Revoltes, Dira Library, and L'Insoumise Bookstore. Support this legendary anarchist hub through music, gathering, and radical solidarity. And that's it. Thanks for tuning into the Squad Show on CQT 90.3 FM. I'm your host, Nikki Anchovy, signing off. I'll see you next month. Ciao.